The stars outside the window of the Odyssey 9 shimmered like cold diamonds against the blackness of space. Commander Elias Rourke stood near the main observation deck, his hands behind his back staring at the endless void. After 6 years of deep space travel, he had almost forgotten what real daylight looked like. The Odyssey 9 was humanity's most advanced exploration vessel, built to go where no other ship could. It carried only 7 people and 1 powerful artificial intelligence, Orion, who ran most of the ship's systems. Their mission was simple: to chart the unclaimed edge of the galaxy and search for any signs of life. But for the last 3 months they had found nothing. No planets worth landing on, no radio signals, no hint of civilization. Just silence. Endless, heavy silence. That was about to change. "Commander," Orion's voice echoed softly through the deck. "Long-range sensors are picking up an unidentified transmission. It's repeating every 10 seconds. Elias turned, his brow tightening. "Can you identify the source?" "Negative," the AI replied. "Signal origin unknown. Frequency does not match any known database. However," the voice paused for half a second, "it appears to be organic in pattern." Elias frowned. "Organic?" Dr. Mira Ashen, the ship's xenobiologist, entered the room holding a tablet. She had heard the same message through her earpiece. "Orion means the signal's shape isn't random," she said, walking toward him. "It's repeating in a rhythm that looks like—" "A pulse, a pulse?" Elias repeated. She nodded, placing the tablet on the control panel. "Look at this." On the screen, the signal appeared as a waveform, rising and falling in a steady rhythm. A small note in the corner showed its pattern was exactly 72 beats per minute. "That's a human heartbeat," Mira said quietly. For a long moment, Elias said nothing. He just stared at the screen, trying to understand what he was seeing. A heartbeat in the middle of nowhere. It couldn't be possible. There were no colonies this far out. No ships, no stations. Humanity had never reached this sector before. "Could it be interference from our own systems?" he asked. "Already checked," Mira replied. "It's external. Coming from somewhere about 6 light minutes ahead." Elias leaned closer. "How strong is it?" "Very weak," said Orion, "but stable, consistent, and adapting." "Adapting?" Elias turned sharply. "The signal appears to be adjusting to match our own systems," the AI continued. "It is now synchronizing with the ship's internal pulse monitors." Mira's eyes widened. "It's mimicking us?" Before Elias could answer, the lights dimmed slightly. A faint vibration passed through the floor, followed by a strange sound like a whisper in the static of the comm system. "Orion, what was that?" Elias demanded. "Unknown interference," the AI said. "Attempting to filter." The whisper came again, clearer this time. A human voice, soft and broken, almost pleading. "Do it now." The bridge fell silent. Only the hum of the engines remained. Mira looked at Elias, her face pale. "Did you hear that?" "Yes," he said slowly. "Replay it," the sound repeated. "Do it now." The words were definitely human. Not alien. Not robotic. A woman's voice, faint but filled with emotion. The same phrase every few seconds layered under the heartbeat signal. "Can you trace it?" Elias asked. "Working on it," Orion replied. "But Commander, I must advise caution. This may be a distress signal and or a trap." Elias took a deep breath. "We didn't come this far to ignore something like this. Set a course toward the signal." "Course plotted," the AI said. The ship's engines roared softly as Odyssey 9 turned toward the source. The stars shifted across the windows like streaks of light. The crew gathered on the bridge, Lieutenant Chen from engineering, Navigator Harris, and the ship's medic, Dr. Lang. Everyone was quiet, listening to the soft rhythm of the heartbeat playing over the speakers. "This is creepy," Harris muttered. "It feels like someone's out there waiting for us." Mira shook her head. "It feels like someone's calling us." Hours passed as the Odyssey 9 closed the distance. The signal grew stronger. The heartbeat synced perfectly with every crew member's vital signs. Even Orion seemed unsettled. The AI's voice glitched slightly when it spoke, as if something was interfering with its code. At last, the ship reached the coordinates, but there was nothing there, no planet, no asteroid, no ship, just empty space, and the pulse, steady and unbroken. "Orion, confirm position," Elias said. "Coordinates correct," the AI answered. "But there is an anomaly." "What kind of anomaly?" "Space-time distortion. Very small. approximately 1 kilometer across. It appears as a sphere of light, invisible to the naked eye but visible on the sensor grid. Elias and Mira stared at the holo display. A shimmering bubble hovered in the void, its edges bending light like a lens. Inside it, faint sparks of gold danced like dust in sunlight. "It looks like an energy field," Mira said softly. "Or a doorway," Elias added. The voice came again, louder this time, echoing through every speaker on the ship. "Do it now." The lights flickered. Orion's voice cut in sharply. "Commander, I advise immediate retreat. The anomaly is unstable." "Retreat?" Elias said, shaking his head. "Not yet. We need to know what this is." Mira turned to him, eyes filled with determination. "Elias, listen to it. It's trying to communicate. It knows we're here." "How can you be sure?" "Because it used our signal," she said. "It spoke to you." He hesitated. She was right. The voice had come through their systems, their frequencies. Whoever and or whatever it was, it had found a way to speak directly into their network. That required intelligence, understanding. "All right," Elias said finally. "Let's send out a response." Mira nodded. "Simple pulse reply?" "Yes, match its rhythm." She entered the sequence, and the ship transmitted a short series of pulses, echoing the same heartbeat pattern. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire ship trembled as a wave of light rippled outward from the anomaly. The stars blurred. The sound of the heartbeat vanished. "Orion." Elias called out, "Energy surge detected. Power levels fluctuating," the AI said, its voice warping. "Something is happening." Outside the window, the invisible sphere began to shimmer. Slowly it became visible. A glowing ring of golden light expanding in space. In the center, a dark shadow started to form. Mira gasped. "Something's coming through." A beam of light stretched toward the ship, striking the hull gently. It wasn't destructive. It felt almost like a scan. The energy slid across the metal, crawling toward the bridge. Elias could see it, a soft glow moving across the walls like liquid sunlight. And then, through the comms, the voice returned. Not faint this time, but clear and commanding. She looked straight into his eyes. "Do it now," and his next step changed their story forever. Everyone froze. The voice was human, perfectly human. It even knew his name. Elias felt a chill. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. "Identify yourself." No answer. "Just static." "Commander," Orion said suddenly. "The anomaly is pulling us in. Gravitational field increasing. Engines full reverse," Elias ordered, but it was too late. The ship's nose tilted forward as a blinding light filled the bridge. Everyone shielded their eyes. For a few seconds, all they could hear was the beating of their own hearts, perfectly in sync with the pulse that had drawn them here. And then, silence. When the light faded, the Odyssey 9 was gone. Only the signal remained, pulsing softly in the dark. A deep silence filled the Odyssey 9. Commander Elias Rourke slowly opened his eyes. The light that had swallowed the ship was gone. The bridge around him looked the same, yet somehow different. The stars outside the window were unfamiliar, scattered in patterns he didn't recognize. "Orion?" Elias said, his voice hoarse. No answer. He looked around. The control panels flickered weakly. Mira lay nearby, unconscious but breathing. The rest of the crew were slumped in their seats, groaning as they began to wake. "Status report," Elias ordered. Lieutenant Chen rubbed his head. "Engines offline. Navigation's frozen." "I think we're still intact, sir." Mira blinked and sat up slowly. "Where are we?" Elias walked to the window. The space outside looked strange. The stars weren't steady. They shimmered like reflections on water. And far in the distance, a faint golden glow pulsed rhythmically. "The same heartbeat signal," he exhaled slowly. "We're still near it. That thing brought us here." "Commander," Mira said softly. "It didn't destroy us. It moved us." "Moved us where?" Chen asked nervously. "There's no reference data. We could be outside the galaxy for all we know." Elias tapped the nearest console. "Orion, come online." After a few seconds, the AI's voice returned, to faint and glitching. "System partially restored. Energy fields unstable." "Orion, what happened?" Elias asked. "Unknown," the AI replied. "The anomaly expanded, enveloped the vessel, and displaced us to an uncharted region of space. Current readings indicate this area does not exist on any known star map. So we're lost," Chen muttered. Mira looked back at the golden pulse. Not lost, she said quietly. Lady Elias turned to her. You think it brought us here on purpose? She nodded. Yes, it's been communicating with us since the beginning. It didn't attack, didn't harm us. It wanted us to follow, Elias frowned. Then what does it want? Before anyone could answer, the ship trembled slightly. A low hum filled the air, not mechanical, not electronic. It felt alive. The sound came from beyond the hull surrounding them. Then the voice returned, soft but clear, as if someone stood right beside them. Do it now. Everyone froze. Chen looked terrified. What does that mean? Mira's eyes were locked on the glowing pulse. It's repeating the same phrase. Just like before. Maybe it's waiting for a response. Elias took a breath. What kind of response? Maybe. An action, she said slowly. Maybe we're supposed to go inside. Inside that? Chen said, pointing at the light outside. That's suicide! Elias didn't answer right away. His instincts told him this was dangerous, but something deeper whispered that it was right. He had heard the voice. He had felt it. It wasn't hostile. It was calling for help. He turned to Orion. Can we scan the anomaly from here? Negative, the AI said. Sensors cannot penetrate the field. But readings indicate structured matter within. Possible technology. Technology? Mira asked. From whom? Unknown, Orion replied. But energy signatures are similar to human design. That made everyone go silent. Human design? Elias repeated. Out here? There are no human settlements in this sector, Orion confirmed. Yet the pattern matches. It is possible that... The AI's voice glitched again, then stopped completely. The lights dimmed. Every screen went black. Elias moved to the main console. What happened now? Mira checked her tablet, but it too was dead. All systems just shut down. Then from the center of the bridge, a beam of golden light appeared, not harsh, not hot. It shimmered softly like sunlight through mist. Within it, faint shapes began to form, floating images, holograms made of light. Everyone watched in silence as the shapes became clearer. Faces. Human faces. Hundreds of them, flickering in and out. Men and women, young and old. Their expressions calm, almost peaceful. Chen whispered, Are those ghosts? Mira shook her head, tears forming in her eyes. No, they're memories. The light pulsed and a woman's face came forward. Her features were clear, sharp eyes, kind smile. Her voice filled the room. She looked straight into his eyes. Do it now. And his next step changed their story forever. Elias stepped closer. Who are you? The woman's image flickered, but her gaze seemed to meet his directly. Commander Elias Rourke, Mission Odyssey 9, you are not the first. We called and you answered. What do you mean the first? Elias asked quietly. The others came before you, the voice said. Long ago. Lost missions. Ships that vanished beyond the border of known space. Their minds, their voices, are here, Mira gasped. The lost explorers. The ones Earth could never find. Yes, the woman said softly. When their ships failed, the anomaly preserved them. Not their bodies, but their thoughts, their memories, their human essence. It became a beacon of everything humanity had ever dared to reach for, and now, it is dying. The golden light dimmed slightly. The faces began to fade. Elias felt a sudden tightness in his chest. Dying? What happens if it dies? All that we are, all that humanity has ever sent beyond the stars and will vanish. Every discovery, every sacrifice, every dream. You are our last chance. The voice trembled as if filled with pain. You must repair the beacon before it collapses. To it now. The words hit him hard. The same phrase that had haunted him since the signal began. Mira turned to Elias. She's talking to you. You have to decide. Elias looked at the fading light. Orion, status on ship power. No response. Chen's voice was tense. Sir, if we redirect our reactor to that thing, it'll drain almost everything we have left. We might not have enough to get home. Elias hesitated. How long can we survive on backup? Maybe a week, Chen said. After that, life support starts to fail. Mira took a small step forward. If we do nothing, those voices, those memories, will disappear forever. That's every explorer who came before us. Every person who tried to push beyond the unknown. Don't you see? They are humanity's story. Elias stared at her. She looked straight into his eyes, calm, certain, brave. Do it now, she said softly. Those same words again, not as a command, but as faith. Elias felt something shift inside him. The fear, the doubt, the isolation, all of it faded. This was why they had come to the stars, not for glory, not for discovery, but to keep the light of humanity alive. He nodded slowly. All right, we'll do it, Chen looked shocked. Commander, that's an order, Elias said firmly. Redirect main power to the anomaly. Chen hesitated, then turned to the console. Aye, sir. Mira watched him with quiet pride. You're doing the right thing. I hope so, he said softly. The engines hummed to life. Energy surged through the ship as they opened the conduits. Bright streams of power flowed toward the anomaly, linking the Odyssey 9 to the golden sphere. The bridge filled with light again, but this time it was warm, welcoming. The faces in the air grew clearer. They smiled. Humanity endures, the woman's voice said. Even at the edge of forever. Elias felt the ship vibrate as energy poured into the beacon. Systems overloaded. Sparks flashed across panels. The crew held their breath as the light around them intensified. Power levels critical, Chen shouted. Hold it steady, Elias said. Just a little longer. The golden light expanded, wrapping around the Odyssey 9. The faces merged into a single glow, no longer separate, but united. The heartbeat sound returned, stronger than before, echoing through the hull like a drum. Then for a brief moment everything went silent again. The light faded. The bridge returned to darkness. Orion, Elias said. The AI's voice returned, calm and steady this time. Transfer complete. The beacon is stable. Signal spreading across all known sectors. Humanity's message will now echo across the stars. Mira smiled through tears. We did it. Elias looked at her, exhausted but proud. No, he said quietly. You did. You believed first. Outside, the golden light pulsed once more, not as a call for help this time, but as a signal of life. A heartbeat strong and eternal. The Odyssey 9 floated silently in the glow, small but unbroken, a symbol of what humanity could be when it chose courage over fear. And deep within that light, the voices whispered one last time, gentle and grateful, thank you for remembering us. The Odyssey 9 drifted quietly in the golden light that now filled the void. The once unstable anomaly had become calm, steady and bright, like a sun that had finally found peace. Commander Elias Rourke stood at the bridge window, staring at it. He could still feel the faint vibration under his feet, the heartbeat of the beacon. It pulsed softly, alive again, carrying the signal of humanity across the stars. Behind him, Dr. Mira Ashen was busy checking the remaining power levels. The ship had given almost everything to stabilize the beacon. Only minimal systems were running now, air, lights, and communication. The engines were dead. Lieutenant Chen leaned back in his chair, rubbing his tired eyes. Reactor's empty, Commander. We've got enough for a few days, maybe a week. After that, we're out of options, Elias nodded slowly. I expected that. Mira looked up from her console. Even if we had power, we don't know where we are. Orion still can't identify these stars. Orion's voice echoed softly from the speakers. Correct, Dr. Ashen. No known celestial maps match this region. It is possible we are outside our galaxy's charted boundaries. So, we saved the beacon, Chen said quietly, but we're stuck here. Elias didn't reply. His eyes stayed fixed on the window, watching the light pulse through the darkness. For a long time, no one spoke. Then Mira said gently, You did the right thing, Elias. He turned to her. Did I? We might have doomed the crew. Her voice stayed calm. You didn't doom us. You gave meaning to why we came here. You saved something bigger than us. He wanted to argue, but he couldn't. Deep down, he knew she was right. Humanity had always pushed forward, even when there was no map, no guarantee of return. That was what made them human. The beacon pulsed again, brighter this time. Orion's systems flickered slightly, and then the AI spoke in a different tone, softer, almost human. Commander Rourke, new energy readings detected. The beacon appears to be sending a directed pulse toward us. Chen looked alarmed. It's not attacking, is it? Negative, Orion said. The frequency matches our previous transmissions. It appears to be communicating. Elias stepped forward. Put it on audio. A faint hum filled the bridge. The hum slowly shaped itself into a pattern, a rhythm like speech than actual words. Odyssey 9. Thank you. Mira's eyes widened. It's talking. The voice was calm and warm like wind through trees. You restored us. The beacon lives again. Humanity's voice will echo through every star it touches. But your path is not yet over. Elias leaned closer to the console. Who are you? We are what remains of those who came before, the voice replied. Explorers, dreamers, all who vanished beyond your world's reach. We remember you because you chose to remember us, Chen whispered. It's them, the ones we saw. Elias swallowed hard. If the beacon is alive again, maybe you can help us return home. There was a pause. Then the voice said, Home is not a place, Commander. It is the reason you travel. But if you wish to return, we can guide you once more. The lights dimmed for a second. Outside, the golden glow began to shift, twisting slowly like a spiral. At its center, a dark circle formed, a tunnel of light stretching into infinity. Mira's voice was soft. It's opening a path. Chen checked his readings. I don't believe this. Energy waves are stable, gravity minimal. It's safe. Elias looked at the tunnel, then at Mira. You think this will take us home? She smiled faintly. There's only one way to find out. He took a deep breath. Orion, align the ship with that tunnel. Alignment complete, said the AI. Engines offline, but the field appears to be pulling us gently inward. We can let it take us. Elias placed a hand on the main control. All hands prepare for transition. The Odyssey 9 moved forward slowly, carried by the light. As the ship entered the tunnel, the stars outside stretched into streaks of color, blue, gold, and white, swirling like paint on water. Mira stood beside Elias, watching the spectacle. It's beautiful, she whispered. He nodded. It feels like we're flying through time. Orion's voice came softly. Sensors detecting temporal distortions. Commander, the tunnel may not only move us through space, but through moments. Moments, Chen asked. Like the past? Or the future, the AI said. The light grew brighter, almost blinding. Then suddenly everything stopped. The motion ceased. The ship floated in stillness. Outside the window was not the deep black of space-can, but a soft, endless white. Clouds of mist surrounded them. And within that mist, faint shapes appeared, outlines of ships, old and broken, drifting like memories. Mira pressed her hand to the glass. Those are human vessels, centuries old, Orion confirmed. Scanning. Identification matches lost Earth expeditions. Odyssey 1 through Odyssey 8. Elias's heart skipped a beat. The lost missions. They're all here. Then one by one, the ghostly ships began to fade into light. As they vanished, the white mist cleared, revealing a single star ahead. A familiar one, the sun, we're back, Chen whispered. That's our solar system. That's home. The crew stared in disbelief. Elias felt a wave of emotion hit him. Relief, awe, and something deeper. Gratitude, Orion, he said softly. Confirm location? Confirmed, Commander, the AI replied. We are in Sol Sector, near the outer orbit of Neptune. Timestamp indicates we have been gone for 2 years, relative Earth time. 2 years? Mira repeated. We were out there for 6. Temporal variance detected, Orion said. It appears the passage altered local time. Elias let out a long breath. We made it back. Against all odds. Hours later, the ship finally re-established contact with Earth. The voice of Mission Control crackled through the speakers, filled with emotion. This is Earth Command calling Odyssey 9. We thought you were gone. Elias smiled faintly. Not gone, just somewhere different. You're being tracked now, Command said. Rescue ships are on their way. What happened out there? Elias looked at Mira. They shared a quiet glance and the kind of look that held 1,000 unspoken words. Then he turned back to the comm. Let's just say, he said softly, we found something worth believing in. As the hours passed, the golden light around the ship began to fade. The beacon signal continued to pulse faintly in the distance, faint but unbroken. Humanity would receive that message soon, a constant rhythm echoing across the void. Mira stood beside Elias again as the blue curve of Earth appeared in the window, growing larger with each passing minute. It's strange, she said. We traveled further than anyone ever has. and all I can think about is how beautiful home looks." Elias smiled. "Maybe that's the point. To leave so we can see it clearly when we return." She nodded, her voice soft. "Do you think anyone will believe what we saw?" He chuckled quietly. "They don't have to. The beacon will speak for itself." They stood in silence for a while, watching the Earth grow closer. The atmosphere shimmered with sunlight. It felt unreal, like waking from a long dream. Then Orion's voice came one last time. "Commander, would you like to record a final mission log before landing?" Elias nodded. "Yes, Orion, begin recording." He paused for a moment, collecting his thoughts. Then he spoke. Mission log, Odyssey 9. We left Earth to find what lies beyond the stars. We found something greater, the memory of those who came before us, preserved in a light that never dies. Humanity is not defined by the distance we travel, but by the courage to keep moving forward even when we are lost. The beacon out there isn't just a machine. It's proof that no step into the unknown is ever wasted. Every failure, every lost mission, every dream, they all become part of the same story. If someone hears this, remember, our journey was never about escape. It was about connection. The universe is vast, but it listens, and now, it knows our voice. He ended the recording. For a long time, no one spoke. Mira finally said, "Beautiful words, Commander." He smiled. "They're not mine. They belong to everyone who ever looked up at the stars and wondered." As the Odyssey 9 entered the Earth's atmosphere, golden trails of light followed it, like the beacon's final farewell. When the ship landed, its hull scorched but intact, the crew stepped onto solid ground once more. The sky above was bright and endless. Humanity had changed, not just because of what they'd found, but because they had remembered who they were. Elias looked up at the stars one last time. Somewhere out there, the beacon pulsed still, carrying their story across the universe. Mira stood beside him, smiling softly. "Do you think it ever ends?" He shook his head. "No, stories like this never end. They just keep moving, from one heartbeat to another." And as the evening sky faded into night, a faint pulse glimmered among the stars. Gentle, steady, alive.